It's great to be here with the Champions team today. My name is Emma Tolhurst, and my career has been over many years in many different industries. And what I love about what I do and why I'm here today is all about people and culture. And why? Because when I started my career many years ago in consultancy, we really didn't have a particularly good culture. We didn't particularly think about each individual person who joined, but we loved what we did and we were very enthusiastic. And often that takes us some way, but not all the way. So what I do today is, after many years of looking at how we work in the business world, how relationships and business work together, and then how we apply it, that really is where my career focuses. I've worked in change management, I've worked with people in many different countries, understanding their local culture as well as their business culture. And today I focus on really looking at how we bring business culture to life in every single workspace you can imagine, whether that be online or whether that be physically in the workplace. And I love what I do and I'm very passionate about it. So why Champions, and why working with the Champions team and taking on the role around people and culture? Really what's interesting to me is that Champions is a family-run business, and that really is everything. And when you're talking about culture in business, what you're really trying to create is that feeling of family and the environment around it. Everybody is welcome, everyone contributes something that is different, and really trying to recreate that brings humans together in the right way to have a successful business. So that's really why Champions, and that's why I'm here, the exciting team and the different skill sets we have, and of course the offering that Champions have, the end-to-end strategic offering, which allows businesses to be successful as well as consider their people in that equation, and really thinking about what that means to the people they employ, and of course the people that drive the business in their everyday. So what Champions has to offer is something quite unique. So alongside their broader services, within the people pillar, we're really thinking about how we can come in and work with your business to audit what you have today, make best use of that, and identify where the gaps and the opportunities are, and really focus in on what you need, a bespoke service that we understand with you, working with you in those initial stages. And then understanding that, we can then look at that with you, your business ambitions, how you want to drive growth, how you want to drive succession within your people and your talents, and then think about what that strategy will look like for you. So again, always putting the business at the heart of this, but equally considering the impacts and the implications of your people. And then we'll look at what are those things that we can then really do with you to implement this new strategy. How do we bring that to life? And one of the key things I always focus on in my work is, what does it mean to the individual, not just the mass, but how do we bring your brand to life for every individual in the role they play? You may have a very diverse organisation, many different role types. Each individual and each part of that organisation will work slightly differently. And at Champions, we look at how we can make that work for the company in terms of growth, but equally how we can allow people to develop their careers in their individual roles. So that's all about implementation, and that's very bespoke, and it will be dependent where you are on your growth journey or your transformation journey, or how you're building your business. So what's also unique about Champions is how we activate with you. There is a whole remit of talent and capability within the Champions family that allows us to come to you and be able to pretty much answer any problem that you have, A, and B, be able to activate within your organisation and solve that challenge with you. So we can be within your business on a regular basis and ongoing. We can provide specific responses to the challenges you face in day-to-day business, because we know that business doesn't stay the same, and we know in an operational environment many things come to bear in the day-to-day that you haven't planned for. So we are there at your side to focus on your future, as well as the ongoing day-to-day challenges you might face. But overall, what we want to see is a successful growing business and successful people within your business. As strategic head of people at Champions, I'm really looking forward to working with the breadth of talent we have here. Not only the existing services for the event management and the speaker opportunity, because that in itself is an amazing opportunity and talent to tap, but also because of the convening of all of the multiple skills that Champions has here and really bringing that to bear for our clients. And the clients that come to us with the biggest challenges will have the biggest range of services to pull from, and also it will mean that we can deliver an end-to-end service which focuses on business growth and the opportunities around that, but equally looks at all of the challenges around managing people today, in the workforce today, which are significant when you look at the impacts post-COVID and the changing needs of our workforce through globalisation, through the evolution of technology, and all of the impacts that that has brought to business owners today. So why do I do what I do today, and why am I so focused on people and culture in the workplace? I think through my own career, what I have seen is people really struggling in work, and what I don't like to see is people who are really gifted not being able to give their best. So through my career and working in consulting, my career was very focused on change management. So we were continuously changing client organisations over my 20+ years at Accenture, and that was an amazing experience. I think the key milestones for me in that were recognition that it wasn't easy. Change is never easy for business. Secondly, where I wanted my career to go. I think I had a realisation about 10 years ago that bringing together my communications skills that I had learned through many years with clients, my change management skills and my marketing skills would allow me to do what's called employer brand today, but ultimately deliver the right culture for our clients and be able to diagnose where we see the challenges in those organisations. And that is a gift, and that is something I feel that is a huge achievement. Somebody who started out as an art student in the creative industries and wanted to go into that field, really what I've done, and I would say is where I've converted that creativity and curiosity around the world into ensuring people are better served in businesses and businesses are better served by their people. So I think that's my legacy, if you like, that I will leave behind, but equally I see that as my achievement in my career and something I'm very proud of. Some of the common mistakes I see organisations making, and it's quite heartbreaking because we know when people make a decision to do something, they invest in it, they put time and energy behind it. Things like campaigns that are absolutely right to do in your organisation to make a change or to make a point or to challenge something. Often they are a campaign and that is it. And I think this is often the common misnomer that if you do a campaign, people will come and people will respond. But actually what we need to do is give businesses structure for long-term change. And that's what we do at Champions. We think about what the impacts of a campaign might be, how we implement it, and then how we activate it in the long run. When we work with organisations, we often find that the problem that the organisation has come to us with is not actually the problem that we need to solve. Communication within an organisation, how people speak to each other, how leadership talks to their workforce and how the workforce feeds back to the leadership is extremely important. And we often find that that is a major gap or a failing within the organisational communications infrastructure. This can be down to technology, it can be down to the way that things have been done in the past, but one of the common things we try to solve for is it feels the same inside the organisation in terms of modern communications, the right channels, bespoke content, being served up to the right people, as much as it does outside of your organisation with social media and channels on demand, content being fed daily, by the second, by the minute. And what we try to do within organisations, therefore, is make people feel at home with their communications. And if there are gaps, we look at those, we understand them, we assess, and we design new ways of communicating and interconnecting different parts of the organisation together for success. My role here at Champions is a fantastic opportunity to bring together strategic talent around the people agenda, which is so much in the news at the moment. And my experience over the years has taught me that no situation is ever the same. We very much always focus on the bespoke problem, and I think that is the expertise I bring, alongside amazing expertise from across the sort of people themes that we talk about today, diversity, equity and inclusion, how we train leadership and how we develop that leadership to manage these modern workforces. So really it is a convener of the talent and to look at the client challenges and bring that together based on my past experience. And the experience I've had over the years has taught me that sometimes when a problem is obvious, it's not actually the problem that you're trying to fix. So I think that's the exciting bit, bringing the curiosity I have to try and solve client challenges here with the Champions team, and then really look to the future to work with clients, learn every day, because it's always a learning experience, it's never the same, and have that moment where you really can achieve something quite differentiated for a brand, for a company who are particularly focused on growth or who are going through some really, really challenging times. So as we see workforces becoming more and more complex, disparate, dispersed across the globe, talent working remotely, it's very challenging for all of us and for big organisations particularly to achieve a cohesive teaming feeling and culture within the organisation. And the scale of some organisations means they're almost a country in their own right and have dispersed talent all over the globe. So how do you manage this, and how do you make sure that everyone feels part of something, that they belong and they understand the purpose of the organisation and the purpose they bring to that organisation? There are many ways you can look at this, and one of the more practical ways is obviously the use of technology, things like Teams, how we interact with AI platforms, how we use social media as a platform for communication within organisations. Not that old-fashioned intranet perhaps that we've had waiting, gathering dust in the background. Today it's all about convening people, using the technology, but also from a brand perspective, ensuring that you are clearly articulating your brand purpose. Those companies that do this see a 43% increase in growth. Those that do not see a decline in growth. And that's because people are attracted to certainty. Humans are attracted to certainty. And if their own personal goals and career goals and the fact that they want to work for a company, so if those marry, the company purpose and the individual purpose marry, they will want to come and they will be attracted to that company and they will stay. So I think it's all about use of technology. It's all about being clear and articulate around what you're trying to achieve as a company, even if you're going through changes, being very clear on what those changes are so that you attract the right talent, and then also convening people in ways that are very much brand-led. They are led, they are differentiated, and they mean something to people. What's interesting is we've seen trends obviously in the actual physical workspace where they are changing the dynamics of workspaces now, so they feel more like a club where you're socially meeting. And so the purpose of workspace, I think we're going to see over the coming years change quite drastically. We've already seen some of that change. So I think there are several sort of features, if you like, of looking at workforce and how people convene using hybrid technologies, platforms and workspaces in different ways so that people can convene when they need to for the right purpose.